Physical pain is nothing compared to mental pain, mental depression. Physical pain is nothing. If I had a choice between physical pain and a mental pain or mental issue, I would choose physical, because mentally, if you are depressed, you have no idea. Like, you know, depression, only somebody who's been through depression. There is nothing which I left unturned, or I left undone. I did allopathy, psychiatric medicines, homeopathy, naturopathy, Ayurveda. I drank my own urine for 2 years.
J.K. Rowling said, "It's so difficult to describe depression to someone who has not been there. No, it is not sadness. I know what is being sad. This is total silence and cold." Welcome to this edition of Sip and Talk with Vikram. Viewers, please stay with me always. I bring you interesting personalities. Do subscribe, do hit the bell icon, do post in your comments from time to time. Today we have on our show Mr. Vishal Gupta. He's an advocate by profession, but he wears many hats, and he is a second time bestseller author on Amazon. Welcome to Sip and Talk with Vikram, Vishal Gupta.
Thank you so much, Vikram, for having me the second time. And yes, it's always a pleasure to be here with you for Sip and Talk.
So, Vishal, you have come up with your second book in a row, and no sooner than it hit the market, it became a bestseller again. Congratulations to you for that. Let me show your book to the viewers while we start talking about it. So, here's your book, High on Life. Are you depressed, stressed, unhappy, nervous, anxious, panicky? I'm sure you'll find all answers to all of these questions in this book. So,
Absolutely.
Vishal, let's begin with a short introduction about you from yourself. And following that, we'll talk about what this book is all about.
Well, this book is a reflection of myself, my journey, my twist, my struggles with depression. At a very early age, between 16 and 23, when I was entering puberty, I did go undergo some hormonal changes, because of which I suffered from depression for 7 to 8 years. And those were the worst days of my life, as well as, in hindsight, the best days of my life. Worst days because every day was a struggle. Physical pain is nothing compared to mental pain, mental depression. Physical pain is nothing. If I had a choice between physical pain and a mental pain or mental issue, I would choose physical, because mentally, if you are depressed, you have no idea. Like you rightly said, J.K. Rowling said that you don't know depression. Only somebody who's been through depression. So to overcome my depression, Vikram, there is nothing which I left unturned, or I left undone. I did allopathy, psychiatric medicines, homeopathy, naturopathy, Ayurveda. I drank my own urine for 2 years. It's supposed to be having healing properties. It's called Shivambu in India, and many people do that. I went to the Himalayas to meet enlightened sages. My parents played a very big role in this, I must tell you. I had a lot of family support. So they spent a lot of time, money, and energy on me. I was young, 16 years, 17 years, very, very young, and I didn't know what was happening to me. So I remember my father taking me to Mathura to meet Devra Baba. He was a very famous enlightened sage. All the prime ministers of India used to meet him. So I had a one-to-one meeting with him, where to take his blessings, so I would come out of my depression. So I even went through electric shocks. And I remember the second electric shock, my mother cried, and she said she just told the doctor no more electric shocks, and she just took me out from the place. So um, so this book is about that, because when I underwent that in India, that time the knowledge, information about depression was very little. Nowadays, people are coming out. We have film stars talking about it openly. You have a lot of people talking about it openly. But when I underwent depression, it was a taboo. It was like, ये पागल है, डॉक्टर के पास जा रहा है, साइकेट्रिस्ट के पास जा रहा है. So it became my moral responsibility to give back to society and to make people aware of this thing, and not just the problem, but the solution to the problem also. So
So Vishal,
that's
why people try to hide this mental pain? It is easier to say for anybody that I've got a toothache, but it is so hard to say that my heart is broken. Why? Why is it so?
because it's actually not the heartbroken. It's worse. Heartbroken can be mended, but because a depressed person um, has suicidal thoughts, he has mood swings. He doesn't feel normal and good. He feels alone. He feels like crying. There are so many things involved, and all of these things are negative. So I would like to make a differentiation and a comparison between physical and mental issues. You see, mind is the root problem of all diseases. I would say 90 plus definitely. Even those diseases which one thinks are physical in nature, like tumors and cancers, new research from scientists and doctors are now pointing towards that the origin, the root cause of these diseases is the human mind. And very little research has been done on the human mind because it's not possible to have instruments going inside your mind and measuring. So let me begin by telling you that human beings are not just the body, they are mind, body, and soul. Until now, all the progress we have made, the doctors have made, they have made in the field of the body. They have instruments which can measure your temperature, your blood pressure, your blood composition. But can they measure your mind? What's happening inside your mind, your subconscious,
Not at all.
your unconscious? So that area is still being a very unknown area, a mysterious area, uncharted waters, and therefore nobody knows what's happening. Nobody, in fact, even the doctors, the psychiatrists. I have a lot of respect for all doctors, and let not any of my statements or comments be misinterpreted as I'm speaking ill or belittling them. But even doctors have no idea of mental issues. So mental issues have been therefore linked with madness, even though a depressed person is not mad. A depressed person will talk normally, will work normally, will go to office, everything normally, but he will not be normal. He will not have joy. He will not have the normal feelings which a person has. So, so therefore, due to misinformation, misunderstanding, this taboo of mental illnesses, and that is exactly what my book is trying to do: solve the problem and maybe do away with lots of myths which people have around this.
We'll come to those solutions with you, Vishal. Meanwhile, viewers, please type in what's your take on this. Have you experienced this pain? Are you ashamed of talking about it, or would you like to talk about it and do something about it? Please do type in your comments. So, Vishal, you rightly said that sometimes all you can do is lie in the bed and hope to fall asleep before you fall apart. So that's very rightly put by you. But I've also heard that there is some ApoE4 gene which is responsible for this this kind of depression, and I believe scientists have made some discovery about it. What's your take on that?
Well, there could be hundreds of reasons, and scientists and doctors are still discovering it. But that's not the point. The point is, how do we handle it? What solutions do we come up with? So this book is about solutions. It's about activities which can temporarily give you immediate relief if you're going undergoing suicidal thoughts, or you are going undergoing depression, or that that feeling of void and feeling low and just not feeling yourself. So in my 7 years of suffering, I tried a lot of these things, which initially are very counterintuitive. I think depression has a lot to do with human beings isolating themselves away from nature. This depression was not there when human beings were closer to nature. It's more or less, I think, a very new thing, which has come about because man, the more civilized he has got, the more isolated also he has got from nature. For example, we wear shoes. Shoes are good to run, but then they isolate us from the ground. There's no grounding. We wear clothes, which is fantastic, but then no sunlight, no D3. We
Yeah.
wear dark glasses, we wear hats. So if you see, we are not aligned with nature. And the further you go from nature, the more problems you have, physical and mental. So therefore, I've given a lot of unique activities in my book, which will bring you back to nature, return you to nature. And the moment you synchronize your mind and body with nature, you will heal, You will become better. You will not need medicines. You have to just get back to nature. Nature has all the solutions. Nature is king. We are a part of nature. We are made of the same 5 elements of nature. It is when these 5 elements have an imbalance that we start getting various kinds of problems. One of the problems are the hormonal problems. And these problems, they usually take place when the body undergoes a major change, like 16, 17, when girls and boys get into puberty, then at 42, and then at 60. So my research and my whatever interviews I do, or I know about people or I help people, I find that these 3 ages are more dominant, where people like women have menopause at between 42, 45, 48. So those are the times where they have more mental problems. But there is a solution to this, which is there in the book.
Yes, Vishal, you are right. Never ask a depressed person why. It is never because of a situation. It is lot more like a weather, which is hard to change. Am I right, Vishal?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So this book is, I hope, so this book is actually, this book came about because after I came out of depression, I started giving back to people. I started helping people, and some of them improved. Some of them became much better. That's when they started cajoling me lovingly that write about it, talk about it. Very few people are willing to come out into the open about the depression. Very few. Like we discussed, it's a taboo to talk about it. So I decided that I'm going to talk about it. But
So depression is like a war. You either win it or you die trying. So you tried, you fought it, you won it. So
yes.
after that, you are wearing several hats. I would like to hear from you. What are the things that make Vishal Gupta?
No, so after depression, I made it a point that I will never ever get depressed, or depression will never touch me. And to do that, I decided to succeed in whatever I'm going to do and take care of my mental health. So after I came out of my depression, I went on to do a lot of things, including making India's first Linux operating system called Aryabhat Linux, working as a managing director of a listed company, um, uh, then as a lawyer, and I made sure that my mind is always working and stimulated. Doing something new, was always excited. So I have made it a point to learn 2, 3 new skills every year. This way, my mind stays young. It remains energetic, and every day, I mean, I feel that joy and bliss and happiness inside now, which was not there before. So if we are able to take care of our minds, not only do we, our physical health improves, but our overall quality of life improves.
So Vishal,
So
some of these emotions in some quantum is required, I believe. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Like you need some amount of anger because when you're watching atrocity, some anger should excite you and to take a stand against that, or some amount of compassion is required. And when these things, manifest too much, then it takes the proportions of negative emotions. So throw some light on that aspect, please.
see, we have 4 happy hormones. That is what it has been discovered till now. They may discover more. And I have named them the acronym of DOES, DOES, D for dopamine, O for oxytocin, E for endorphins, and S for serotonin. These are the ones, these 4 hormones, they play a major role in how you feel. And when there is an imbalance in these hormones, does depression or any other kind of mental issue creep inside you? So in the book, I've given what activities trigger and stimulate what kind of hormone. See, if you see from a certain angle, we human beings are nothing but a bundle of chemicals. We have loads of chemical reactions happening every second in our body, and we behave according to that. What is anger? Anger is nothing but a chemical in your body which is released when you get angry. And if I inject you with another chemical, at that particular moment your anger will disappear and you will feel something else. So whether you sleep, I think it's melatonin, another hormone. Cortisol is for stress hormone. So everything in the body is controlled by hormones, and if they are less or more or imbalanced, then we behave according to that. So we have to now manage these hormones. And anger is nothing to do, or negativity has nothing to do with depression, by the way. Depression is not contrary to negative feelings. Depression is a state of being where certain chemicals have gone wrong or imbalance, because of which you are unable to feel normal and your mind is unable to function normally. So it's a chemical imbalance. Therefore, the psychiatrists will give you either serotonin tablets or Prozac, the very famous antidepressant Prozac. So they have two methods of fighting it only. They will give you some tablet which will make you sleepy and less your mind less chattery, with the hope that with your mind becoming less chattery, your neural network synapses, when there's a lot of things going in your mind and you're going crazy and you just can't stop your mind, they slow down your neural communication so that you sleep. And once you sleep, you feel better. So either they make you sleep by making these neural networks slow, or they give you one of the hormones, increase the level of that hormone to make you feel better. But that is not a permanent solution. So ultimately, for permanent solution, we have to look at nature and we have to see how we can manage with that.
So inactivity and lack of purposefulness is also a source of that hollowed out feeling. So do you think they are also the culprit in generating this kind of a situation in a person?
Well, anything can be a stimulant for depression also. For example, a loss of a loved one. I know so many people who are suffering depression right now, and that is exactly the reason, Vikram, why I have published it in these times. Because it was already in my mind to write a book like this. I realized now is the right time to write a book on this topic, because not hundreds, not thousands, millions are suffering from depression. And some of them don't even know they're suffering from depression. They just go through life full of anger, resentment, regrets, not knowing that it's their depression which is causing the same. I'm hopeful that people may take advantage of the book and read it and discover whether they are depressed or not, because I believe that the whole planet is undergoing a depression, not just people, the whole planet as such. So in such times, we do need to have some way out of this. But yes, the trigger for depression can happen in many ways. It can happen due to the loss of a loved one, when you have a heartbreak, when you fail in some endeavor. There are so many stimulants, because those stimulants affect the mind. And when I say the mind, the brain, even though the mind and the brain are two different things. And when the brain, then you have glands like the pituitary gland, the pineal gland. Then you have, of course, so these glands control the release of hormones. So these glands get affected, and they start producing either more or less of the hormones, and that's when things go berserk. That's when chaos happens, havoc happens. Therefore, mental stability is very important.
Our loved ones, people around us who are going through such situations, how can we help them to, take care of their mental agony?
Very good question, Vikram. I think $1 million question, most important question of the day. First thing we have to understand is that we have to support people who are suffering from depression. Second thing we have to understand is, a lot of people used to ask me, depression क्यों है तुमको? तुम्हारे पास सब कुछ है, तुम्हारे पास खाना है, पीना है, depressed किस बात के हो? So Baba, depression is not about lack of something. Some film stars have depression, they have hundreds of crores of rupees, they have everything on the planet, but they are depressed. So depression is a proper disease. It's not something just, okay, why are you depressed? So you have to treat that person. You cannot just take it lightly that nothing is there. The problem with depression is you can't see it. If there was a tumor, you could see it. If there was cancer, you could see it. If there was a boil, you could see it. But depression cannot be seen, and there is no X-ray machine, CT scan machine, MRI machine to see it. So you have to first support a patient like this or a person like this, and you have to acknowledge, understand, accept that yes, there is this person who's treatment, whatever. That's the first and the most important thing we in our Indian society need to understand and implement in our family. Second thing is, take that person to the right people, get the right treatment done from the kind of people. And the third thing is, read my book.
I've read your book, Vishal, and what I loved about it is not preachy. It is not given like chapters. It is given like a series of activities. And the best thing is that while you begin reading that book, there is a bundle of gift in that. You can just click and download another short book from that. So tell us about your book, Vishal. How does it help people going through all these things?
So it gives solutions, 20 activities which a person can do to reduce his depression. And if these activities are done over a long time, that person can even come out of depression. Please understand, the allopathy medicines, once you start them, and I have nothing against allopathy, but everybody knows about it. Even the allopathy doctors know about it, and they're very candid about it. It's difficult to do away with them. So I have always advocated and called for less medicines. Our medicines cannot be pills and capsules. Our medicines has to be fruits, vegetables, nature, tree, sunlight, exercise, and stuff like that. So our whole definition of medicine needs to change. And therefore, I keep going back to the Indian wonderful system, Ayurveda and naturopathy, where the medicine, the food is your medicine. So here in this book, I have given 20 very unique techniques, like hugging a tree. Now, a lot of people may laugh. How can your depression go away? I'm not saying a depression will go away in 1 second or 1 minute by hugging a tree, but try hugging a tree for 15 minutes. And don't believe my word for it. Read my book and then try, and then come to your own conclusion. So we haven't realized that trees are energy centers, just the way human beings are. We think, as human beings, as a species, that we are the ultimate species and we only have everything, and the other species has nothing to offer, especially plant life, since they can't move. But plants and trees have the same energy which we have. There's not much difference. And in fact, they have pure energy. They are not jealous of anybody. They are not hating anybody. So if you are able to hug a tree, the energy in your body, which is not moving properly, and again you have to understand the chakra systems, the 7 chakras in the body, and how energy flows in our body. So those blockages will go away. The energy will start flowing. If the energy starts flowing, your depression will go away. Because depression again is the blockages of energy, the pran shakti, more commonly known as chi, the Chinese word chi, but chi has come from the word pran shakti. The etymology is pran, which the Hindu enlightened masters and our spiritual books have spoken about. So we always knew from last 5,000-10,000 years, Indians know about this pran shakti. So it's high time we get it back. And sometimes you need the help of other things. You could take the help of a tree. You could take the help of a pet, an animal. I've also written about hugging a dog. Try it. And dog lovers will tell you this. They don't know where you'll find that dog lovers are less depressed. Dog lovers who keep hugging their dogs 20 times a day, you do a survey, and I challenge you, you will find that these people, that's why they say if a dog can love you, you're a good human being. There's an adage to something like this, because they're happy people. And one of the ways they're happy is because they love their animals, pets, kittens, So, and there is a reason, because animals also have energy in them. You keep hugging them. Third category of people are babies. Please hold a baby in your hands, arms, like when they're young, the fathers hold them close to their heart and, they make them sleep and tap. Now go back to when you became a father, Vikram, forget other people. When you became a father,
I truly remember that.
And you held your baby next to the heart, what was your feeling? I'm asking you, could you ever be depressed when you were doing that?
Not at all.
Do you know that the heartbeat of the baby and your heartbeat, in physics we did experiments, we had 2 wires, and we kind of vibrated one and then the other, and then both started vibrating. It was called the resonant experiment or something. I remember doing something in the 11th or 12th like this. Similarly, the baby's energy and your energy interacts, and baby's energy is pure, absolutely no blockages. We have blockages. That is why you see the face of a mother, of a father who holds a baby, and it's just, you see it next time. And these are the observations I've made and experienced myself also, and realized how things work. You see the face of a father when he has the baby on his shoulder. Just see next time.
Yeah, blissful.
Blissful. Where is the question of depression? So that's why I've written all these techniques in the book. But you must practice it for 15-20 minutes. It can't be done in 1 or 2 minutes. It takes time for the energies of 2 bodies to interchange, react, and communicate with each other and affect each other. So therefore, so many techniques are there like this. One I've written about is about taking a cold shower. Cold showers produce endorphins. And that is why you see our saints who live in the Himalayas, they always advocate taking a cold bath in the Ganges at 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning. Today, we can't do it, but if we can do it, you see how your health improves. I go to Rishikesh sometimes, and when I dip in the Ganges, for those 6-7 days I'm in Rishikesh, I feel so energetic, so alive, so fresh, that I feel that I don't have any medicine. I don't have any disease or medicines. So those are the things I've shared in the book and described in the book.
That's true, Vishal. See, there was a time when people had a particular kind of lifestyle. Even the various spices that we use in the kitchen, if you taste them individually, they are insipid. You cannot, actually eat any of those spices as is. But when you combine them with the food, it becomes something different, an aroma. So what has happened over time is, our lifestyle, the time that we sleep, the time that we wake up, the physical activities that we do, or the kinds of food that we eat, it has undergone a massive transformation. So, to some extent, it looks to me as if this problem, along with the cultures of the other places that we have imbibed, even this problem has also got imported along with those cultures. What's your take on that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, lifestyle is changed, and with the advent of cities, internet communication, all technologies are double-edged swords. Internet, now you can do conferences over long distances. You don't need to go to office. But on the other hand, now you're sitting at home the whole day on the couch and doing your work. So one has to keep a balance. But I keep repeating: go back to nature, go back to nature, go back to nature. Take care of your mental health more than your physical health. If mentally you're happy, you're healthy, the body will follow. The body will reflect it. Whatever happens in the body are symptoms and effect, not the cause. And let me explain this concept. Suppose you have fever. The fever is not the root problem. The
Yeah.
fever could be because of a mosquito bite, malaria. It could be because of some inflammation or some other disease. So if you try to heal your fever, it's not going to help because your root problem will still remain. So that's what medicine till now, especially the modern medicine, has been doing, trying to heal or do away with the symptom. It's not addressing the main problem. For example, blood pressure. You're taking pills for blood pressure, but how much ever you take, suppose the blood pressure, because you are in anxiety, stress, the blood pressure is going to be there whether you take medicine or not. So until you don't address that anxiety and stress, you can't reverse it. So I believe in reversing it. I believe in reversing depression and addressing the root cause rather than the effect of that cause, rather than the symptom of that cause. And the solution is only with nature.
Or rather, it is within you. You have to align with the nature and bring it out of you.
Absolutely. Well said, Vikram. Absolutely.
So, viewers, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And Vishal, before we end this conversation, any word of advice from you, what kind of a life to live, besides aligning with nature, what to do in life, or say three things that one should definitely do so that one never faces this kind of problem?
The first thing is when my father came out of his angioplasty, I was there, and we asked the doctor that, the very obvious question that now what should we do further to remain healthy? And his answer was very surprising. He's one of the very well-known doctors of India, topmost doctors of India, and he didn't speak about medicines. He spoke about laughing and being happy.
Yeah.
So my first advice is laugh a lot. He said, he told my father, आप अभी हंसो और tension मत लो, हंसो गाओ. First thing is laugh. People have forgotten to laugh. In fact, some crazy people consider it uncivilized to laugh. So when I go and see a movie, I laugh, belly laugh, and I find opportunity to laugh. I go back and see my cartoons, my Tom and Jerry cartoons. I go back and see those Hindi movies, which were like, Chashme Badur and Jaane Bhi Do Yaro, and all those funny movies, which we cult movies, the humor, the movies, and I laugh. So please laugh, 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 laugh. Second thing is learn how to dance. You see, dancing and singing are divine in nature. So when you're on the Shah, don't keep thinking about what you're going to do in the office. How much you learn to hum, learn to shake your waist. And third thing is to have some kind of philosophy towards life where you do some activity for self-discovery. So pray. Thank him. Thank the Almighty, the God, the omnipresent, supreme power, the supreme energy. Because those people who pray, they have a different kind of confidence and life and a mental attitude. Believe in God, believe in a higher power, believe in the power of love. So pray and love unconditionally. Pray and love go together only. Love unconditionally. Unconditionally means don't make it a barter system or a transaction, because everything has now become a transaction. You give me this, I give you that. Don't do that. Even if your children or wife Still hug your wife if she's angry with you. Take care of your children if they can't understand you. So give unconditional love, because ultimately our relation is with God. We have to, answer Him and answer no one else. So live life to the fullest by doing all these three things.
Thank you, Vishal. These are golden nuggets for us to take. And viewers, please do type in your comments. What did you take away from this conversation? On that note, Vishal, I'm so grateful to you, so thankful that you are here with us on this show. Lots of good wishes for success of your book and for success to you in your life.
Thank you,
Thank
Vikram,
you.
for having me, for calling me. You've always been a very polite and good host. You always ask the most beautiful questions and not tricky questions. So thank you for tolerating me for half an hour and giving me an opportunity to talking to my audience, my people, my readers. Without you, I would not be able to reach them. I humbly bow down to you and grateful to you that you give me an opportunity to share my thoughts. Thank you so much. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Thank you. Namaste.